Handicapper Steve here, handicapping day 3 of the Cheltenham Festival. It is Thursday, the 17th of March, 2022. We're going to look at almost all the races on today's program from Cheltenham, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and remember to join me this upcoming Saturday for my Midlands Grand National preview from Utah, and next Saturday for my Doncaster Lincoln preview, beginning the flat next Saturday, so I can't wait for that. But it's day 3 of the festival. It's Irish Day. We have 7 races to look at. 6 races. We're not going to look at the 5:30, the amateur riders handicap, because it's just a very difficult race, and I just don't want to look at that. So we're going to look at the first 6 races instead. Starting off with the first race, to 1:30 from Cheltenham, which is the Grade 1 Tuners Novices Chase. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $236,500. The race is for novice 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of only 4 horses, but 4 quality horses going 4,000 meters or 2.5 miles over the Chase course. And before I go any further, the going yesterday was just tremendously bad, very, very heavy, and I think they got that wrong. It was just a sloppy going, the Queen Mother yesterday was probably one of the weirdest races I've ever seen run in my life over the jumps in the UK. We'll get to that at a later point, but it still takes a little bit to comprehend. But my top selection here, I'm going to take the 1 horse Bob Ollinger. I'm going to go 1-3-2 in the trifecta. That's the top 3 basically, but the top selection is the 1 horse Bob Ollinger. Several gelding here. Rachel Blackmore's on this one for Henry de Bromhead. The horse's most recent outing came the 16th of January at Punchestown, soft ground, 2.5 miles in the Grade 3 Kildare Novices Chase, and the horse won by 4 3/4 lengths, and at 50 cents to the dollar, he just kept going. It was his second start over the big obstacles. He jumped well, quickened up nicely, and it was an all-around easy race. Coming here to demanding ground, not the world's toughest race today. I think he could really run a good race against his Irish counterpart in this one. 2 back in the beginner's chase at Gower in 2.5 miles the 20th of November. He won by 5.5 lengths, and he settled well early. He quickened up nicely. Not the flashiest debut over chases, but he still got the job done. It was a good race. And then he ran last year at the festival a year ago to the day at 2 miles 5/8 in the Grade 1 Ballymore Novices Hurdle, winning by 7.5 lengths as a 1-2 lukewarm favorite. He just took off clear. That was a very, very good run. Coming here today off some decent runs, I think he's a very likely winner. He also goes up a lot with heavy grounds. I think today the ground, you're going to see a lot of horses love it, and then a lot of other horses loathe it. But I think he should love it. The 3 horse Galvin Deschamps is your second likeliest winner. He won at Leopardstown on yielding ground in February very, very nicely. It was the quicker side of yielding, but he still got the job done. And then before that, he won beginner's chase in December at Leopardstown very nicely. He's another horse I think he can handle the heavy ground. He's a winner of his last 4. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets there first. But to recount my selection for the first to 1:30 from Cheltenham, it is the Grade 1 Tuners Novices Chase. Let's take the Turners National Novices Chase. I'm going to take the 1 horse Bob Ollinger. Give kudos to the 3 horse Galopin Des Champs. 1-3-2 trifecta. 1-3 in the place pot to the second. The 2:10, the second race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 3 Pertemps Network Final Handicap Hurdle. It's a Grade 3 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $135,000. Race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 24 horses entered to go the distance of ground here of about 4,800 meters or 3 miles over the Chase course, the hurdle course. I'm going to take the 6 horse Sassy Yet Classy as a top selection. We'll go 6-13 in the forecast exacta. 6-13 forecast exacta. Top selection is 6 horse Sassy Yet Classy, 8-year-old mare by Goldwell. Davy Russell gets them out for Gordon Elliott. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of December at Navan, 2.5 miles in a handicap hurdle. The horse got redemption for the previous race. She finished second by a neck. She jumped well. She just needed an extra turn a foot late, but I thought it was a really good improvement off the race before, which was a handicap hurdle at Navan, 4th of December over the 3 miles. She didn't finish the race. She unseated the rider. She had a few mistakes there. It just wasn't her day to win. But before that, Punchestown, 14th of November on fast ground, 3 miles in handicap hurdle, winning by 3 lengths. She took off clear. She absolutely loved the good going. Before that, on heavy ground at Clonmel, 3 miles in handicap hurdle, she finished third by 4.5 lengths. She needed something late, but off of that run, it looked like she could handle the very, very wet stuff like she's going to see today. She has a good handicap here of 152 pounds, and I think she could beat the boys. At 15 to 1, we'll use her along with the 3 horse Alaphilippe, this 8-year-old gelding here. Paddy Brennan's on this one for Fergal O'Brien. most recently in a handicap hurdle at Warwick over the 3 mile and a furlong. The horse finished fifth by 8.5 lengths, and it was first off the bench, and the horse needed the race. He really just never got going. Before that, the festival last year in the Albert Bartlett Novices hurdle, the horse finished fifth by 16 lengths, and again, just kind of hung a little bit, never really got the good turn of foot, but before that won the Albert Bartlett Prestige Novices hurdle at Haydock in February 2021 very, very easily by 14 lengths on the drive, and then we won before that a National Hunt Novice hurdle at Taunton over the 2 miles 3/8, finished in second by 3/4 length, finished second that day by 3/4 length. Just couldn't get there late, but still was traveling decently early on. Coming here second off bench at 7-1, back to Cheltenham where this horse ran okay last year. I'll give this horse a shot at a very wide open race. But to recap my selection for the 210, the second race from Cheltenham, it's the Grade 3 Pertemps Network Final Handicap Hurdle. We're going to take the 6 horse Sassy Yet Classy as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 13 horse La Philippe, 613 Forecast Exacta, 613 both in your place pot. The third race, the 250 from Cheltenham. It is the Grade 1 Ryanair Chase. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $506,500, race for 5-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 4,200 meters, or the 2 miles and 5/8 on the Chase course. A very, very good race here. I'm going to take the 3 horse Eldorado Lane. We'll go 391 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 391 Tri-Cash Trifecta. Top selection of 3 horse Eldorado Lane. This 8-year-old gelding here. BJ Powell's on this one for Colin Tizard. The horse's most recent outing came 12th of February in Newbury. Yielding ground 2 miles 7/8 in the Grade 2 Denman Chase, and the horse by 2.5 lengths. And upset at 6-1 that day. He sat back early. He slowly moved his way up. He was on the drive, but he was excelling that day. An all-around good race. Coming here to the very wet stuff. Back to Cheltenham where this horse ran decently in the Arkle last year behind Shishkin, who failed to fire yesterday on the heavy ground. I think he can run a decent race here today to win. 2 back at Kempton in the Silvianco Conti Chase in January over the 2 miles 9/16, similar trip as today. He finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. He couldn't get there late. I don't know if he was 100% cranked for that race, but he still ran an okay race. And then before that in the Grade 2 Petersburg Chase at Huntington, 2.5 miles 5th of December, he finished third by 6.5 lengths. He's very lackadaisical at times, especially during the early portions. That day he just never really got into it, and like I said, just very lazy that day. And then before then, the Holden Gold Cup at Exeter over the 2 miles and 3/16, winning by length. Not the world's toughest race, and he got the job done even with his lazy self there. Coming here off some decent runs this season, at 15-1, you have to use him, along with the 9 horse Sean Blue. Harry Skelton's on this one for Dan Skelton. He hasn't been seen since the Charlie Hall Chase day at Weatherby over the 3 miles, where he fell out of that one as a 2-1 favorite first off the bench. What can you do? He just couldn't stay afloat. Disappointing as a 2-1 favorite, but his races last year weren't bad at all, especially on the heavy stuff. He placed in Skilly Isles at Sandown last February of 2021. Came here to run in the Marsh Novices Chase, where the horse ran a disappointing 5th, and then came back to a very good place behind Chantry House and Aintree in the mid-May. But he's a good horse here. He should definitely get the trip, and I think he gets some redemption for that last race at 8-1. Another horse you definitely have to use in your place pot. But to recount my selection for the third race, the 250, it's a very exciting Grade 1 Ryanair Chase. We're going to take the 3 horse Eldorado Lane as a top selection. Give kudos to the 9 horse Sean Blue, 391 Tri-Cash Trifecta, 3-9 in the place pot, to the featured 4th race. The 330, the 4th race from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 1 Stayers Hurdle. It's a Grade 1 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $439,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 10 horses going the distance of ground of 4,800 meters, or 3 miles over the hurdle course. My top selection here, I'm going to go take the number 9 horse Time Hill. We'll go 941 in the Tri-Cash Trifecta. 941 Tri-Cash Trifecta, top selection 9 horse Time Hill, 8-year-old gelding by Cave Tara. TJ O'Brien's on this one for Philip Hobbs. The horse's most recent outing came the Grade 1 Long Walk Hurdle at Ascot, 3 miles on 18th of December, and the horse finished second by 1 3/4 lengths. Champ, who's running back this one, really ran a killer race to win that day at 4-1 to upset that day. But this horse, he settled well. He was really closing up a little bit late. I thought it was a decent race back from France. Coming here off the little bit refreshing, I think he's been gearing up, pointing towards his race all season. I think he could really improve off that last run, and I think he's sitting on a very good run. Two back, they started his season off in France, in Paris at Auteuil, the 6th of November, 3 miles in the Grade 1 Grand Prix de Haute Hurdle, and he finished 5th by 41 lengths, and he never really could quicken up. I don't think, Auteuil is a very difficult place to jump around, and he just wasn't handling the quirkiness there. And then an Aintree before that in the Grade 1 Stayers Hurdle, 3 miles in 8th on the 10th of April. He won by a neck. He got redemption for missing Cheltenham that day, and he settled well, quickened up nicely. I thought it was an all-around easy victory from there. And then before then, the long walk at Ascot in December 2020, over the 3 miles, he placed behind Paisley Park that day. That was at the point where nobody was beating Paisley Park, where he was just a killer horse. This horse just really couldn't get to him that day. But before that, he turned the tables on Paisley Park in the long distance hurdle at Newbury, November 2020. He won by 1/2 lengths, and he got the race done on the run-in. It was an all-around good race. He ran in the Albert Bartlett hurdle here at Cheltenham in March 2020, where he finished 4th by 1/2 lengths behind Monkfish. This horse was a lukewarm 4-1 favorite, and he just couldn't get there late. But coming here on the heavy stuff, which he absolutely adores, I think at 3-1 he's sitting on a very good run, so let's use him. You can't throw out the 4 horse here, Classical Dream. Paul Towns on this one from Willie Mullins. Most recently in the Glennoy Hurdle at Gowan, 3 miles and 16th in January, he finished 4th by 12 lengths there, and he never quickened up late. Off the bench, he might have needed the race. Before then, the Christmas Hurdle, he won very nicely, and then he won the Champion Stayers Hurdle in Ireland at Punchestown in April very nicely, also off a 2-year freshening, which is quite very impressive there. But he's a very decent horse. He should like the trip. At 7-2, I've seen weirder things. Well, we've seen weirder things. He won that champion hurdle at Punchestown off the 2 refreshing last time out with no race. But 7-2, he could definitely win against these horses. We'll definitely use him in the play spot. But to recap my selection for the 4th at 3:30 from Cheltenham, it is the Grade 1 Stayers Hurdle. Let's take the 9 horse Time Hill as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 4 horse Classical Dream, 941 Tricast Trifecta, 9-4 in the place pot. The 5th race, the 410 from Cheltenham. It's the Grade 3 Craft Irish Whiskey Co-Plate Handicap Chase. It's a Grade 3 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $162,000. 22 horses going the distance of ground of 4,200 meters, or 2 miles and 5/8 over the Chase course. I love a horse here in this one. I love the 5 horse Facile Raffles. We'll go 5-4 in the Forecast Exacta. 5-4 Forecast Exacta. Top selection of 5 horse Facile Raffles. 7 again by Sante Saints. Daryl Jacob gets on this one for Nicky Henderson. The horse's most recent outing came on quite quick round at Doncaster in January. 3 miles in listed Handicap Chase, where the horse finished 5th by 26 lengths. Wasn't really like the dry stuff that day. He never really got a good handle of it, and he ran a little bit late, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Coming here back to 2 miles 5/8, a very heavy ground. I think he's in a very realistic spot to win. 2 back here at Cheltenham, 2 miles 5/8 in the Grade 3 Racing Post Gold Cup Handicap Chase. He finished 4th by 4 3/4 lengths. He had a decent trip that day. He just needed the extra turn of foot, but I've seen worse races for him. And then before that, in the Charlie Hall Chase at Weatherby, 3 miles in October, he won by 4.5 lengths, and on good soft ground. It was a very good race for him there back to the bigger obstacles. He, his season, if you take out the race last time out where he saw the fast ground, or nearly fast ground, the season hasn't been bad at all. He was a Grade 2 winner so far this season. 10-1, I think he's in the up and up. Watch out for him here. I think he's very deadly to run a good race. I also think the 4 horse Imperial Alcazar, yes, there we go, is your second likeliest winner. Paddy Brennan's on this one for Fergal O'Brien. He won at Cheltenham here in January very nicely, and then had a decent place in Wales at Chepstow before that. He likes running here. We'll give him a shot also at 5 to win the place pot. But to recap my selection for the 410, the 5th race from Cheltenham, it's Grade 3 Craft Irish Whiskey Co-Plate Handicap Chase. We'll take the 5 horse Facile Raffles. Give kudos to the 4 horse Imperial Alcazar. I'm going to go 5-4 in the Forecast Exacta. We'll use them both in the place pot. The 6th race, the 450 now from Cheltenham. It is the Grade 2 Ryanair Mares Novice Chase. It's Grade 2 event for Class 1 horses, going for a purse of $142,000. Race for novice 4-year-olds and upwards, fillies and mares only. We have a field of 22 horses entered to go the distance distance of ground 3,400 meters, or 2 miles and 1/8 here in the Mare's Hurdle, Mare's Novices Hurdle. I'm going to take here the 3-horse Party Central as a top selection. We'll go 310 in the forecast exacta. 310 forecast exacta. Top selection of the 3-horse Party Central. The 6-year-old mare by Yeats. Davy Russell's on this one for Gordon Elliott. The horse's most recent outing came the 6th of February at Leopardstown. Yielding ground 2 miles and a quarter in Mare's Handicap Hurdle. With a low weight that day, this horse went by 1 3/4 lengths off the 2-month refreshing. Wasn't 100% cranked that day, but she settled well. She quickened up nicely. Not the easiest, not the flashiest victories, but it was an all-around good race. Coming here on heavy stuff with a good weight. Not the world's toughest race. I think she could really improve off that run. 2 back in the Mare's Novices Hurdle at Punchestown, 2 miles and 3/8 on the 5th of December. She won by a head that day. She had a decent trip early on, a few mistakes towards the end, but she got the job done. A gritty performance, but it was a good race. And then before then, a grade 3 EBF Mare's Novices Hurdle at Down Royal, 2 miles 5/8 on the 2 miles 1/8 on the 29th of October. She finished 4th by 29 lengths, and she just never really got going. I thought they were setting their heights a little bit too soon with that race. And then before that, she won at Lismore very, very nicely over the 2 miles and a half. Won by 1 1/4 lengths. She was under the drive and excelling that day. Coming to heavy stuff, a 5-1. A very likely winner. The 10-horse Brandy Love is your second likeliest winner in this race. Placed most recently at Ferry House in a very tough grade 3-hand Novices Chase, Novices Hurdle, excuse me. And then before that, won a main hurdle, an ace before that. On the up and up. At 3-1, we'll use this horse on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the 450, the 6th race from Cheltenham, it's grade 3 Ryanair's Mare's Novice Hurdle. Let's take the 3-horse Party Central as a top selection. Give kudos to the 10-horse Brandy Love. 310 forecast exacta. Now, like I said earlier, the 7th race, the 530, it's Kimura Amateur Riders Chase. We're not going to look at this race because every year I look at it, it seems like there's always a random result in this race. Some of these races this week have been so random, but this race always seems random to me, so we're not going to look at this race. We're not going to look at this race, but as I look on paper very, very closely, Schoolboy Hours, I might do a small each way on him, but I didn't say that. But other than that, it's not a race I would really, bet good, a lot of money on. Maybe a few dollars or pounds each way, but it's not one of those. It's not my favorite race of the festival. It's right up. It's just above the Champion Bumper. It's the Kimura, then the Champion Bumper, my 2 worst races of the festival. So we're gonna skip this race over. So that's it for today's day 3 card from Cheltenham. Join me tomorrow for the finale from Cheltenham. The Cheltenham Gold Cup should be a good race. And remember to follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world. And join me here on YouTube for some more racing action. Good luck, everybody.